Dee-do-do-do-do. Dee-do-do-do-do. I don't have no time for no monkey business. All right, here we go.
You sure? You sure this time?
Yes.
All right. Yum, yum.
Chris Skelzer here with
Matt Howell.
On this episode of The First Run, Matt, we're going to discuss 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Or is it Missouri? We're also going to discuss the Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler comedy epic, The House. Because we have our grid, Matt. We have our bracket we still have to work through from summer releases. Because it's December. And we're also going to feature the return of TFR Libs. It's everybody's favorite film on the blank game. This time with less profanity, I'm assuming. It depends on how drunk Matt is at this point. Let's start everything off, though, with a clip from 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
I'd do anything to catch the guy who did it, Mrs. Hayes, but when the DNA don't match no one who's ever been arrested, and when the DNA don't match any other crime nationwide, and when there wasn't a single eyewitness from the time she left your house to the time we found her, well, right now, there ain't too much more we can do.
Could pull blood from every man and boy in this town over the age of 8.
There's civil rights laws prevents that, Mrs. Hayes. And what if he was just passing through town?
Pull blood from every man in the country then.
And what if he was just passing through the country?
It was me. I started up a database. Every male baby was born, stick him on it. And as soon as he'd done something wrong, cross-reference it, make 100% certain it was a correct match, then kill him.
Yeah, well, there's laws prevents that. Everything I can to track him down. I don't think this is very fair.
The time it took you to get out here whining like a bitch, Willoughby, some other poor girl's probably out there being butchered right now, but I'm glad you got your priorities straight. I'll say that for you.
When the folks at home, even after that clip, there may need some fleshing out. Is 3 billboards all about?
Well, this is about a small town in Missouri where a heinous crime was committed to Frances McDormand's daughter, where she was raped and murdered, and they have not solved it, and the police have not solved it. So she decides to take some matters into her own hands and see if she can light a fire under their collective patoots, as my mother would say, and posts, basically buys billboard space on a distant road and says, you know, while my daughter was being raped and killed and burned alive, you still haven't come up with anybody, something to that effect. You know, why is that Chief Willoughby? And essentially it causes a schism in the town, and it really follows the rest of the different people in the town and how this affects them throughout the rest of the film.
So there you go. So this film stars Frances McDormand, right? Everybody loves a little Frances McDormand, as well as, of course, you just heard Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell, directed by Neil McDonough, Matt. And we're both big fans of Neil McDonough's work, right? We both have a Martin McDonough. Excuse me, everybody. Martin McDonough. He in Bruges, which we're both big fans of. And then also, I like The Guard. Matt, did you ever see The Guard?
No, I didn't.
At all? No, what was that? No, you haven't? Tonight, you gotta love that. So Matt has not seen In Bruges, everybody. I'm sorry, In The Guard. Wow.
The Guard, yeah.
This is just going wonderfully well right now.
Yeah, we're doing this is A-game stuff right here. I thought it would be better since we're doing it a lot earlier right now, but we're not. We are doing piss poor. Maybe we're not drunk enough.
It's
when it comes
technological
down
issues.
to it.
We're having some tech issues.
Yeah, there you go.
Matt hasn't seen The Guard. So In Bruges, 7 Psychopaths, which I think was kind of a letdown for me. I enjoyed the film, but obviously not to the degree of In Bruges. I think you agree with me on that, correct?
I do agree with you wholeheartedly.
So I think, though, Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing is, for me, an entire return to form. I may even like this more than I liked in Bruges. I think this is a real big progression for McDonagh. I think this is a fantastic film by two exceptional performances, that, of course, being Frances McDormand and Sam Rockwell. Two people who I feel. Let me ask you, Mac. This is what I wrote down. I think they are Oscar nomination worthy performances, both of them, and possibly Harrelson as well. Though he exits the film about halfway through, but I think his character's arc, I think, is exceptionally powerful, as is both McDormand's and Rockwell. But I think they really are the underpinnings of this thing. I mean, it's whip smart. It's and how McDonagh is able, Matt, to balance just the humor with how dark this film really is. If you think about it, how it's focusing just really how tragedy impacts all these people's lives in this town. It's even better than I thought it was going to be. Really. So okay. I don't know. Share your thoughts. I've thrown a lot at you. What do you think?
Yeah. So I definitely agree with you. I think Rockwell, McDormand. I wouldn't be surprised if Harrelson. They all get nominations, and this thing is absolutely loaded. It has, John Hawkes in it. It's got.
Stop. It's just don't even. It heard about 10 seconds, maybe two. I have like 2 words out of that last 30 seconds.
Well, you know what? Your connection's not very good either. You're breaking it out too.
Am I spotty?
Yeah. But I don't know if that's my end or if it's your end.
We may just restart this because this is really, really bad.
Well, why don't you call me back if we're going to restart?
I'm going to adjust my bandage.
I'm trying to. There you go.
I go to low. See if that helps.
Not the.
We'll just restart.
The only thing I can think of to do is get.
We're in a high internet usage time, man. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, are you wireless right now?
Sorry?
Are you wired or wireless?
I'm wireless.
Okay. Yeah. I think if I don't know, I maybe track down an Ethernet cable I can plug it in here at some point going forward, because that usually seems to make it more stable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right next to my router.
So am I. It's literally right there. It's on the bottom. It's like a foot away from me.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So do you just want to start over or what?
Yeah.
It's never very good when we start over. It's just not.
Watch. Have a little faith.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm down at low. You're at low. Yeah, I guess we'll go full Ethernet cable next time. That's probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
I'll do the same, even though I think I'm fine. But you're saying you're having issues with me too. But it could just be your connection.
I mean, again, that could be.
I got 100 MP. I got 100 megabytes, baby, up and down.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell this is. I guess I could run a speed ping test to really see how fast this thing is.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's just start talking.
I am talking to try and fill the void so Chris can determine if this is even worth trying to do. And he's very upset about it right now. But there's nothing I can really do about it.
Well, I don't know if we just wait just a half hour and just regroup at 10.
Okay.
It'd be a little better. We can try again. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be as bad now. All right, here we go. Chris Kelsey here with
Matt Howell.
On this episode of the First Run, Matt and I are going to discuss 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Missouri. Before We're also going to discuss the Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler masterpiece. I can't even so I make the joke with the Missouri, and then I triple over Poehler because I am a professional.
That's right.
We're going to discuss the house. And then it's going to be the return of TFR Libs, everybody's favorite fill-in-the-blank game, with, I'm going to say, 20% less profanity, depending on how much Matt has had to drink this evening. So let's start everything off with a clip from 3 billboards outside of, I can't see billboards either. It's 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Louisiana. Take a listen.
I'd do anything to catch the guy who did it, Mrs. Hayes, but when the DNA don't match no one who's ever been arrested, and when the DNA don't match any other crime nationwide, and when there wasn't a single eyewitness from the time she left your house to the time we found her, well, right now, there ain't too much more we can do.
Every man and boy in this town over the age of 8.
Their civil rights laws prevents that, Mrs. Hayes. And what if he was just passing through town?
Full blood from every man in the country then.
And what if he was just passing through the country?
It was me. I started up a database. Every male baby was born, stick him on it. And as soon as he'd done something wrong, cross-reference it, make 100% certain it was a correct match, then kill him.
Yeah, well, there's definitely civil rights laws prevents that. I'm doing everything I can to track him down. I don't think those billboards is very fair.
The time it took you to get out here whining like a bitch, Willoughby, some other poor girl's probably out there being butchered right now. But I'm glad you got your priorities straight. I'll say that for you.
All right, so Matt, we have Woody Harrelson and Frances McDormand in that clip. Frances McDormand plays Mildred Hayes. Ms. Hayes has lost her daughter. She was brutally raped, murdered, set on fire, killed. And she's getting no resolution, Matt. Nothing's happening. They can't locate who the killer is. So what Frances does, what Ms. Mildred Hayes does, is she rents out these 3 billboards on this old, kind of basically abandoned road, asking the chief what's going on with his investigation and basically casting some blame on him for not getting his butt in gear. So, Matt, we have, now we're both, I should say, big fans of this director's work. Martin McDonagh did In Bruges. He did The Guard. He also did 7 Psychopaths, which I think we both agree was a step down, right? We're both huge fans of In Bruges.
Yes.
And I don't believe you've seen The Guard, correct? You have not?
I have not.
All right. Starring Brendan Gleeson and I believe Tom Cheadle. A great little film. If you get a chance to check it out. 7 Psychopaths, just not up to snuff. And now we have 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Alaska. And this time, I really think that McDonagh has knocked it out of the park, Matt. This is a film that has exceeded my expectations. I may even think I enjoyed it more than In Bruges. I think part of the In Bruges thing was it was such a total surprise for me. I had no idea how good that thing was going to be when I walked into it. But I think the core of this thing is what's propping the whole thing up. Not just the whip-smart dialogue, the black is black dark comedy at times, and the heavy drama. It's the performances by our leads, basically, Frances McDormand and then Sam Rockwell, who I think, Matt, and correct me, I'm curious what you think about this, but I think these are Oscar nomination-worthy performances. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see that happening. Thinking of what's been out through the year so far, I think that fits. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they'll definitely get nominated.
I think that I hope you're entirely right. I think the great thing about this film too, Matt, it's what McDonagh does, and just I can't again express to you how great a script I think this is. We're dealing with the impact of this death of Mildred Hayes' daughter, and how it just it spreads through this town, how it infects everybody who comes in contact with her, the police, everybody. It is just, I can't get over how exceptionally well done this is and how McDonagh is able to balance the tone of this. Stuff is hilarious, but we're still dealing with some really, truly horrific things at times. And I don't know. I thought it was an exceptional little movie. I think one of the best films I've seen this year. And What were your thoughts?
Well, I think this is going to be one of those times where you get mad at me, Chris. I'm not saying I didn't like this movie. I'm on the fence about it. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not going to gush about it as much as you are. I did have some issues with the film. I don't think McDonough is completely successful in managing those tonal shifts because, like you said, it goes from very, very funny to dark, dark, dark places. And sometimes even the jokes lands are like, should I even be laughing at this? And, you know, I guess that's the point, but still. But I think the bigger problem I have with it is it's very stagey. I mean, McDonough is a playwright. That was his background. So it doesn't seem very cinematic to me. It seems very like an Aaron Sorkin play that they just started to, you know, that they got I don't know, these A-list Hollywood actors to come down to the summer stock and do like one performance that they recorded. And the dialogue and the way they perform it seems very not real. It seems very noirish to me, and that it just didn't seem. I don't know. I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy it at all times. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't like the film. I just don't think I don't see this film making my top 5 for the year.
Interesting. All right. I think I get what you're saying about the delivery of the dialogue. Now we're not talking like Mamet-esque still did, you know, you just read the lines on the paper, you know, that kind of thing. But there is definitely a style to it, and it's a style I think that I just really enjoyed. I think the noir description is an apt one. So I don't know. I don't know. I really felt that this is. Listen, I think sometimes too, there's a lot of the artistic intent in this thing you can really see. Every now and then, stuff can kind of go off the rails, like say Mother. Not to throw any film names out there,
right?
But I really think that this is exceptionally well done, and I truly did appreciate it. It's too bad that you didn't enjoy it as much as I did. I think it's just I don't want to use the word fun because it's not fun per se, but it's an enjoyable thriller, dramedy. Is there such a thing? And I think one of the interesting things too that is there's no neat resolution. There's no cathartic release. I think really with this, I think the film's success is in the journey of its characters, particularly I think Sam Rockwell.
And that's one of the things that does bother me about the film is that, and I'm sorry to interject, but
no, please.
You're right. There is no satisfying conclusion. This doesn't wrap up in a neat bow. And I did like that about the film. But for God's sakes, this thing is like Serendipity, the movie part 2, because there is a Serendipity movie. But I mean, just the escalation of just these implausible events that just keep piling and piling and piling on top of each other. I mean, for somebody who likes genre fiction and likes superhero movies, I was like straining at, you know, credulity for me. I was like, come on, McDonough, come on. I don't know. It just started to get a little too Deus, you know, ex machina for me, as far as that stuff goes.
Well, I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Well, I don't want to like talk through if I laid out all the events of this film, one after the other, and just
you're talking about like the confrontation at the shop and then later on at the bar and how it's not really related.
No. I mean, yes, that's part of it. But I mean, you know, again, I don't want to say, you know, the arc of Woody Harrelson's character and then how that ends in the middle of the film. And then, you know, she's kind of got this moving orbit with her ex-husband that comes in here and the kind of stuff that goes on there and her kind of constant escalation. And then also Sam Rockwell's, you know, constant escalation that seemed to have absolutely no consequences. Whereas, you know, hers kind of do because she has somebody cover for her, but at the same time, Sam Rockwell does stuff that have absolutely no repercussions whatsoever. I mean, and you know what I'm talking about with Red.
Yeah, but right? What do you mean there were no consequences?
So
he lost his job.
Okay, so he lost his job.
So I think you're missing I think one of the things is you're missing the context of the geographical location that McDonough has chosen. He's chosen a small town in Missouri. Okay.
Yeah. Have you actually ever been to Missouri? It's very much like this place, and I've been to a small town like this. And interestingly enough, I got pulled over by the cops there, and it was not a very fun experience. It is a scary place out there.
That's what I'm saying, though. Given all the stuff that's happened in Missouri over the last few years, I think that there was a conscious choice by McDonough to set it in this place, because the film not just dealing with the family and the drama and the tragedy, but it also is commenting on it's our current political status. I think the racial relations, he clearly has a voice and things to say about that in this film. There's a lot, I think, that is integral to the picking of the geographical location, how the police basically there are the be all and end all. That's the problem, is who is Red going to complain to is the issue. So I think the only consequence that Rockwell's character has is the one he receives is the only real viable one he could really face in a small town where nobody questions the law.
I don't agree with you insofar as they get a new chief, he fires him. Sam Rockwell beat the crap out of this dude in the middle of a street, threw him out a window, and also, punched his secretary in the face. And there's literally nobody presses charges. They don't go to a state level, to a county level. They don't do anything. They just literally say, "Oh, you don't have a job now. Please leave." And like, literally, the town. I don't know. Like I said, it strains credibility for me. And I don't know why it's such a sticking issue, but at the same time, I get what he's trying to say, and I get what he's trying to do. I just think it's very heavy-handed.
And I think that Red, though, has his own not that he needs a redemptive arc, but he shows his humanity and compassion in that later scene when he's in the same.
What about Pamela? Pamela got her face broken in.
Right. No, that's fair. Once again, I think you're dealing with the small town politics where it wouldn't even occur to them to escalate it to the local state DA. I just don't think that's something that's going to happen.
Yeah, I get what he's trying to say. I just think that his method of doing it as he just piles these things on is extremely heavy-handed, and it's a little clumsy.
Matt, we've been doing this show for like 300 episodes just together, you and me. By the way, this is our 375th anniversary show.
For 400, are we pulling out Cecilia Ann again? I think we should pull out Cecilia Ann for our 400th episode.
Fine by me. It's such a crazy late night show that I am drinking tea. But since you and I, because there was a brief point, Matt, where you were not on the show. But I am running out of ways to tell you that you're wrong. And I need to come up with some new ones. But basically, I just think it's deeper than I think you just don't get it, because I think that's lazy. You know what, though? It's not that you didn't like the film. You did. You just didn't get the same impact. It didn't have the same impact on you as it did on me, which is fine.
I mean, let's admit this something. We've been doing the show for 300-something episodes. Not consecutively, but for a very long time. The best episodes we have are when we disagree. I'm just trying to say, you're right. I did like the film. I think it's a worthwhile film. I just don't like it as much as Chris does. And I think it has problems. And I'm trying to point those out. And Chris is blinded by the artistic, what he got out of the artistic, what he got out of it. And
I just didn't see them as problems as you did. So what's your recommendation? Go ahead. What are you telling the kids at home? I'm gonna give it
a B. Definitely go see it. But I mean, obviously, there's a lot of competition out there right now. We've got Lady Bird. We've got Lady Bird. We've got Coco. There's all kinds of different things out there. It's definitely not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And I don't know if you necessarily need to rush out and see it, which is too bad. But if you can only see a couple movies, especially with some of the stuff that's coming out and it's competing against that are in the same kind of wheelhouse, I don't know. I think it may lose depending on how the rest of the stuff plays out. But I give it a solid D for sure.
Okay. Well, I give it an A. I think it's one of my favorite films.
Not even an A-.
One of the best films there.
Wow.
I think it's one of the best films I've seen this year. I think it's fantastic.
I don't even try and tell Chris he's wrong, because he knows it deep down. He knows it deep down. He does. He feels
this film. Matt, this film is electric.
Go see it. God! Is every movement an earthquake?
And every gesture. How dare you? If you want to see a smart, dark comedy drama with some fantastic performances that's come out this year, I'd be hard pressed to recommend something better.
Are we doing top 10 this year, or are we doing top 5? We usually do top 10.
We're doing 10.
Okay. I guarantee you, we're gonna come up with some kind of wager. I don't think, maybe gentleman's wager, because you could change it just to spite me, but I don't think this would, with what's coming out, I don't think this is gonna crack your top 5.
Oh, it's possible. It possibly won't. I could tell you I enjoyed the Florida Project more than this. Probably Blade Runner, Baby Driver.
Still
Yeah,
got Lady
possibly.
Bird,
Probably not.
Red, Shape of
I haven't
Water.
seen. Yeah, I got to see Lady Bird yet. No, possibly not. But it doesn't mean it's not one of the best films I've seen this year. So
We'll see.
shoot
It's
us
not
an
making my
email.
list. Out of spite.
Just think about it. Just sleep on it, would you?
All right.
Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, here's what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday. That's December 5th. That's right. We are just the tip in December, and I'm very excited. We're going to have an American Assassin starring Dylan O'Brien. It's one of the where he gets recruited as a CIA Black Ops guy, and he's trained by veteran Stan Hurley, played by Michael Keaton, which I think for me is the reason why I want to see this.
Right.
And then Taylor Kitsch is a bad guy. I guess he's a former agent gone bad type thing. So a bunch of special features on that. Comes the Blu-ray, DVD, and the digital copy. What else is coming out, Matt? The Twin Peaks sequel series is getting released on Blu-ray. Can I tell you something? I've never seen Twin Peaks. It's been in my Netflix queue since it hit Netflix, and I've yet to watch it.
Ditto. I'm glad we're in this together. I've not seen a single episode.
I think we found our new first run focus.
Maybe.
Go through. That's a lot. I don't know. So there's the whole series, at least the new series, is getting released on Blu-ray with 3 behind-the-scenes featurettes, exclusive just to the Blu-ray. So make sure you pick that up. 100 Years of Olympic Films is being released by Criterion. Matt, this is 53 newly restored films from the 41 editions of the Olympic Games printed together for the first time. There's a landmark 4K restorations of Olympia, Tokyo, and Visions of 8, among other titles. A lavish illustrated 216-page hardcover book. Criterion has gone all out for this special edition. So if you're a big fan, they always do something, it seems, right, for the holidays. And I guess this is their big release this year. And then I think for me, one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, Silent Night, Deadly Night, is getting its release from Scream Factory. There is a 4K restoration, Matt, 4K, of the theatrical version.
Wow.
And then they also include disc 2, which is an extended unrated version, which includes the 4K restoration of the original film, right? With unfortunately only standard definition inserts of the unrated materials of the extended stuff.
Unacceptable.
They had some issues, I guess, finding a good print for that stuff that was previously cut. So the best they could do is these standard definition inserts. I guess they tried to color time in. It's supposed to be as close as possible.
Right.
So we'll see. There's new audio commentary with the actor Robert Brian Wilson and co-executive producer Scott Schneid on the extended unrated cut, as well as some behind-the-scenes featurettes and making-ofs and interviews. So I'm excited for the Scream Factory release. Though Silent Night, Deadly Night is good, relatively speaking, nothing is probably as good as Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2.
Garbage Day?
Garbage Day, which I didn't use it for the stinger this week because we've used it previously, so I kept it shelved. But I'm sure we'll work it in at some point. Mm-hmm. And then finally, Jumanji is getting a 4K restoration release from the original camera negative just in time for the new film. Includes a brand new hilarious gag reel that features Robin Williams amongst other members of the cast and some never before seen deleted scenes. So if you're a Jumanji fan, you can check out the original as the new one comes out. Matt, your straight to DVD pick of the week. Matt, what would be, you encountered a werewolf. What would be the thing that would make those werewolves worse? What would be the all-time worst version of a werewolf for you? What could the werewolf be that would make it worse, especially in these day and times?
A Republican werewolf?
No, we try not to get political.
A Nazi werewolf.
Bingo! Werewolves of the Third Reich.
Okay. Is this Rob Zombie's prequel to Nazi Women of the SS? Or Nazi Werewolf Women of the SS?
Sadly not. But that would be good to see at some point. In Nazi Germany, at the height of World War II, Matt, a ragtag group of American soldiers known as the Fearless Four are shipped off to a military prison for a variety of infractions ranging from mutiny to murder, but only M-related crimes. While they're being transported, Nazis attack the convoy, killing the MPs, but the rebellious American soldiers manage to escape. Traveling deep into rural Germany, the Americans stumble upon an SS experiment camp run by the notorious Dr. Mengele. They soon discover Mengele's diabolical plan, Matt, to fuse human and animal DNA to create an unstoppable army of werewolf soldiers. The Fearless Four are now the Allied forces' only hope of preventing Hitler's Third Reich getting the upper hand in the war. It's a fight to the death, and only the most brutal and merciless will survive. Your straight-to-DVD pick of the week, Werewolves of the Third Reich.
You know, the Nazis actually really did have units that they called werewolves, and they tried to propagandize them up as real werewolves.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this goes into the list. If we ever do another straight to DVD marathon, I would like to see Werewolves of the Third Reich.
We should do a werewolves one because we're getting our buddy Wolf Cop 2, Part 2. I don't know if it's going to go straight to DVD. I think it is getting a limited release, but we should still put it into that marathon if we do it.
We'll do that. We'll do a werewolf marathon. We'll do that. I haven't seen Wolfen since I was a kid. We can work in what else would you want to toss in there?
Maybe Dog Soldiers. Dog Soldiers. I've never seen it. I've heard about it.
Dog Soldiers.
I've never seen Dog Soldiers. Or you know what? I'm also kind of ashamed to admit, never seen Ginger Snaps either.
That I haven't seen either. That's the Canadian one, right? Yeah, I have not seen the Gingers of the Snaps. Matt, what should we be streaming this week?
Well, in honor of our previous film noir that me and Chris had a big disagreement on, even though we were not that far off from each other. And this is what introduced really Frances McDormand to the world, is Hulu has Fargo, one of the Coen brothers' best films. And there's so many to choose from, but this is basically the truish but not really true story of a used car salesman who has his wife kidnapped and is accidentally killed by the bungling kidnappers. And basically, Frances McDormand plays the cop who's trying to hunt them down. Very small townish, kind of that American Gothic kind of feel to it. And it's really, like I said, not to say that the Coen brothers didn't have great movies before, but this is really the one that kind of broke them out to the world at large.
That's a good one. The Fargo's, that's a pretty good movie. It's pretty good.
It's no,
I like Fargo. It's a good one. It's one of my favorites. Everybody loves Fargo. Come on, Steve Buscemi.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong with that film. All right, Matt. Good times. Freddie Mercury died this week.
Oh, he did?
Not this week.
I know,
but like
it's the anniversary. It's the anniversary.
Yeah, it's the anniversary of his passing. I spent the day listening to Freddie Mercury. No Queen, just Freddie Mercury. And let me tell you, that can be a bit of a chore. I don't know if you've heard a lot of his solo stuff, but
I've heard none of his solo stuff, to be quite honest with you.
It's very, I don't know how to describe it. Disco, pop, lots of love songs. Some of it almost unlistenable, but still good. I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm a big fan. Matt, when should we talk about See and Skip? You want to do that now?
Okay, let's talk about See and Skip, our friend See and Skip.
So they recently reviewed, what were the ones that I did see today? What were the most recent ones? It was Coco.
Yep. And the Gary Oldman and Winston Churchill movie.
The Darkest Hour. I did not watch the three billboards outside of Ebbing, Montana. What did they say about that one?
They actually didn't say that much. They just talked about how, McDonough, they agreed with you, Chris, which she agreed with you, which should make you feel good, but Skip also agreed with you, which should also make you feel bad. So
I get my energy up. You got to see. It's like, woo!
Yeah,
now I'm Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Sorry,
woo! That was, it was, they were gushing about it, but they didn't really get into a lot of the kind of intricacies of it. I think we did a much better job, but yeah, they were definitely, they were solidly in the see it, and they were saying that this is McDonough's best movie, best film.
See, that's what I was thinking as well.
But Skip said it, so that automatically gives it a half letter grade demerit.
Skip. All right, and then I watched the Coco and the Darkest Hour. So I felt he was a little more reserved this time, particularly with Coco. At least Skip was, but it was weird because he brought it to an odd place. He's talking now. If you're not familiar, Coco is the new Pixar film, right? And it deals with Mexico's myths and legends or traditions. I'm not quite sure what the proper term is because I'm not smart. Dealing with death and passing on and love and family. And Skip, what he does is what I think is fantastic. And if I had the budget to do it, maybe I would do the same thing, though I wouldn't understand it. He actually goes and watches the film in Mexico with the Mexican people. He doesn't like, transport in a bunch of Americans. He actually sees it in the actual local environment. Though I feel like it didn't really play into anything. He said that everybody there really enjoyed it.
Right.
But I don't recall. Maybe you can, because you just recently saw it. Was there a big cultural impact? Was everybody all excited? And
I don't know. I mean, I know the audience that I saw it with, they were really into it. In fact, they were at the end of it. The audience applauded, which is.
I'm sorry. That's my fault. I'm talking about the Skip's watching of it in Mexico.
Oh, I mean that part. I mean, all we saw was Skip. I mean, there was a dude taking his ticket that they blurred out. There was somebody sitting in front of him that they blurred out, and it was just like a normal movie thing. And they didn't show any audience reaction after. So I mean, we're just taking Skip's word for it, which is obviously, not something you should really rely on since you didn't like Thor Ragnarok. So. Right.
So one thing too, which makes me concerned that Skip may be a psychopath, is when he does the video, he holds it portrait. He doesn't use his phone landscape. And I'm sorry, if you're recording a video or taking a picture of that stuff, there are very few occasions you should be holding that damn thing portrait, people. All right, especially if you're taking a video.
Video is unexcusable. Portrait, you can take a picture. You may want to get that narrow field.
Right.
Yes.
Just like I do. I need to have narrow photos, and I have to constantly be looking up. And squinting my eyes, just
slight 30-degree angle every picture.
Just squinting, yeah, just squinting just subtly.
Or at whatever this is. 6
degrees. No, that's it. Holding up the phone about a foot or so above my head, whatever the reach of my arm is. That's exactly the way to do it. So, but Skip goes into the fact that his father passed away. So the film was touching for him, and I appreciate that, and I'm sorry to hear about your loss. Truly, I truly am. I thought it was a weird thing to bring into the discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if it hits you and if it reminds you of that, you know what? I should just shut up. I really have no idea what I'm talking about. It felt off to me because the whole show is high energy. Let's do an 8-ball and talk about movies. Well, we have some just an anonymous droning techno beat underneath us for the whole time. It was just for me, just given what that show is, it was just a weird turn. That's all.
Yeah, I can see that. But I mean, Skip's weird. I mean, Skip, like let's just focus on how wrong Skip is when it comes to comic book films, because I'm really interested to see what he has to say about Star Wars, because I may have to fly out there and fight him if it comes down to it.
There's no way Skip doesn't like Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, he recommended you go see Justice League, right? Even though he says he goes back and forth, but he's mostly critical of the film. But he's like, still, you got to see it. It's great.
Yeah, and then he said he did Thor Ragnarok was not his cup of tea. It was too serious. It wasn't serious. I mean, it wasn't serious enough. This should be very deathly serious.
Yeah, I was tweeting with something, and somebody mentioned that too about how it wasn't. It was just too funny. It was too many jokes, and it's supposed to be a serious thing. And I'm like, baby, come on.
Why you gotta break my heart? Why you gotta do that to me? If I could do a convincing Barry White voice, I would do it right now.
So yeah, no, I don't know. Anyway, we'll continue to view the further adventures of C and Skip. They also discussed, of course, The Darkest Hour, the Gary Oldman film where he plays Winston Churchill, and they talk about how great Oldman is. I think it was interesting they pointed out Gary Oldman's Rotten Tomatoes score, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Of what it is. It was like, what, 60 something, or was it even lower? I'm trying to pull it up now, and I'm not seeing it because is it not ready available for the common public, you sons of bitches?
Something that
is there a Rotten Tomatoes Pro I'm not aware of or something? What the anyway? It's true. Oldman's been the best part of a lot of bad films, and it's shocking to me that he hasn't won an Academy Award at this point. I think still with Rockwell. Same with Rockwell too. That one blows my mind.
He was nominated though for Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, wasn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. But overdue, and I think Goldman didn't get his first nomination right until Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Right.
I remember too when The Dark Knight came out, I almost felt that he should. I think I actually said he should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really liked him in that, though.
So did Skip. Skip was gushing about Gary Oldman.
That's right. You bring that up. So Skip and I, maybe maybe
Skip's all right. I think
we have a lot more
Skip are a lot. Yeah, you guys are a lot closer than you would probably like to admit.
Yeah, I think Skip and I would have a good time. I would just have just tone it down, just bring it down, just a little bit.
Maybe that's just his on-air persona. Maybe he's as dark and gritty as he likes his superhero movies. Needlessly,
could be. He's the Frank Castle of movie critics when you get him outside of the show.
And you could be his microchip. Oh, it's adorable.
That's right. Dear God. So I'm 7 or 6 episodes into Iron Fist, Matt. I know we talked briefly about this off show, but I'm enjoying it because it's cotton candy. It's light. There's nothing to it.
Right.
The acting's not terribly good. It's very over the top. The martial arts is underwhelming. I feel like it's like they brought some guy in off the street who didn't know any martial arts and said, all right, here's a week. Figure out what you can figure out, and we're shooting tomorrow.
Which is what they basically did, from what I understand.
But there's something I can't, as the French say, there's that certain, I don't know what, and I can't really wrap my head around what it is, but I enjoy it. And I feel dumber after watching every episode.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's just like I said, there's confectionery quality to it that I can't get enough of.
So I guess if we're ranking this, then you would say probably Jessica Jones is first. You would say Daredevil season 1 is second, and then you're going to put Iron Fist above Luke Cage and Daredevil season 2?
No. I mean, there's a greater list of things that go into me ranking the shows than just enjoyability factor. I think
its ability to entertain is not the important thing.
No, it's not. I'm more cared about. I wonder how well did they spend their money on the budget. I'm a big fan of wardrobe. No, it's. I still listen. I've always said I can tell you the difference between crap that I like and stuff that's good. I can tell the difference, right? David Bowie's Low album is my favorite album of all time and one of the greatest, I think, pieces of music ever committed to vinyl. David Bowie has never let me down as an overproduced, wrought disaster of an album, but there's still stuff on it that I enjoy, even though it's bad. All right, there's a way to tell the difference. I love Inside Information Foreigner. It's bad, but I enjoy it. All right, and that's what Iron Fist is to me. There's things about Luke Cage that I loved. I loved the feel to it, the design, the music. It really has. They hone and they really grab the kind of blaxploitation thing, but update it for modern times, and it's very smart and clever. It's just long. Yeah. You could have trimmed half of the episodes out of that show. And I'm sure when I'm done with Iron Fist, you could have probably gotten this down to an 1.5-hour movie, and it would have been just as good. Yeah. So, but like I said,
I'm gonna go on YouTube. I don't think I'm gonna watch those. I don't think I'm gonna do it. I want to see the Defenders. I want to see the Punisher, but I haven't even finished Daredevil season 2. I haven't watched any Luke Cage and haven't watched any Iron Fist, and I think I'm all right with that.
All right, and then finally, I've watched just one episode of the Crisis on Earth X.
I do want to watch this. Yes.
And that one episode, Matt, is the greatest episode of CW superhero shows they've ever done.
Really?
Just that one episode.
Okay.
Is the best thing I think they've ever done.
Okay.
Mark Waid actually tweeted today that it's the greatest superhero thing he's ever seen.
Really?
And it's that first episode is so much fun. It's so well done. And all the characters, I'm only one episode in, and I'm already in love. Now, granted, I can get my heart broken here over the next 3 shows, but it's a lot of fun. So I'm very excited to see what happens next. If you're not familiar, Crisis on Earth X, it's the WB crossover stuff with Supergirl, The Flash, Arrow, and the Legends of Tomorrow. And it's their annual crossover. And so far, I'm one episode in, and it's fantastic. So
okay.
And Earth X is in the multiverse in DC, Matt. Earth X is the Earth where the Nazis won World War II.
Okay.
The house. Are we talking about the house? Let's talk about the house. Here's a clip.
Let's talk about that.
Here's the house.
6-pack of beer, 6-pack of water.
Okay, this just sounds like way too much liquid.
Or just don't party at all.
Okay, Mom, you're the one who always talks about how much you smoked pot in college and for a whole semester you just peed outside.
Okay, they did call me smoke a lot of pot and pee outside, Kate.
Well,
But I regret that. Okay, just skip over that part and act like I am now.
okay.
Oh, let's show her stranger danger. Do you know stranger danger?
I'm sure.
Okay, this is real important. So I'm a scary frat guy, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of them. Mom is you.
Lucky
right?
me.
Okay. Hey, sweet thing. My name is Geppetto. Because I make the ladies my puppets. Yeah.
See? I already
Right?
don't trust him.
Right? He's
You
a
should trust
bad
your
guy.
instincts. Yeah.
Bad guy.
Weird choice.
So you want to come to the bro house?
You don't have to answer.
Oh.
But for this scenario, I will. I'm fine, thank you. I'm getting ready to study.
Oh, but I like the silent type. You smell good. You probably think I'm close to you, but I like to get closer. Come, my lady. Come, my lady. You're my sugar pie. Honey, baby.
Then you elbow the balls, and then you
right
roll
there.
away.
You roll, and the guy's like, no,
You
my
get out of it.
lord.
So stay away from guys named Geppetto.
All right, Matt. So it's a clip from The House, starring Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler, two powerhouses, I would say, in the comedy genre, scene,
Yes.
movies thing.
Sure. Yes.
Matt, The House is a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was part of our bracket. Let's get into it, Matt. I'm just going to say one thing, and I want you to go with that from here. All right.
Okay.
The House is not bad.
You're right. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's not 16% bad, but it's not good. But here's the thing, and this is the weird thing about Will Ferrell movies especially. There's a lot of them that grow on you as you rewatch them. Like when we were listening to that clip, I was actually giggling more than I did when I watched it the first time. And like when I saw Anchorman for the first time, I thought it was really dumb. But now I think it's one of my favorite comedies. It's in the pantheon of comedies for me.
Yeah, Anchorman is one of the rare films that gets better every time you see it.
Yeah,
somehow.
it is. It really is. And it's I don't think we're gonna have that with The House, but I have a feeling it's gonna grow on you. I mean, it's got, and Jason Matsuzakas, he's in it. He's bring his insane energy in the same character he plays basically in everything he ever does, but it doesn't get old, right?
Now, Jeffrey Characteroides, which is his actual name, Jason Mantzoukas is his stage name. If you at least that's what he says when he's on Comedy Bang Bang. That his real name is Jeffrey Characteroides. So yeah, I'm sorry, continue. But yes, I agree with you on Mantzoukas.
Yeah, I mean, this is an okay film, but it's not their best work.
I would agree with that. I think it's got a fantastic cast. You also have Nick Kroll. You have Allison Tolman, Michaela Watkins. What else we got here? Rob Hubel, which I always enjoy. Andrea Savage. Jeremy Renner shows up. Cedric Yarborough. So Sam Richardson is in it as well. I think it's an exceptionally strong cast. It's a murderer's row of CBB if you're a fan of the Bang Bang at all. And there were some truly LOL moments, as the kids say, Matt. I was laughing hysterically quite a few times. Unfortunately, I don't think enough. Yeah. It's not consistently funny, but it's zany enough for me. Maybe a little superficial at times, particularly with the characters. I mean, Ferrell and Poehler aren't. In fact, nobody in this film is an actual, real, live, thought out character. They're just comedy line delivery devices throughout this whole thing. Basically, everybody. But I think it's paced well. I mean, it zips along. It's like 88 minutes.
Right.
So I think it's good. It's good enough. I enjoyed it enough. Like you said, it's not a 16% film. No way in hell. Right. But it's good enough. I got quite a few laughs out of it. I think it's at least worth a rental for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Head on down to your local Redbox and get it for $1.
There you go. What are you going to give The House for a grade?
I'm going to give it a C+.
That's what I did.
Yeah, see? This is what happens, folks. We're on the same page and we're done talking about The House in like 15 seconds.
Reunited, and it feels so good. Plus, we got to make up some time. We're on the clock.
Yeah, we have been gabbing. Like a couple of old school norms.
That's right. So, The House, good. Check it out. Worth it. Shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts about The House as well. Matt, let's move right along. Let's jump into TFR Libs. And you know what? There's a pretty big release today, Matt. Let's hear a little Avengers Infinity War, shall we?
We shall.
There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people to see if we could become something more. So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose. To feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny still arrives.
So can we give a little shout out to my editing job on that trailer? You didn't hear where I cut it at all, did you?
No, I didn't. That was actually really good.
Seamless. I am so good at this point.
You are. You're like a professional.
TFR Libs, Matt. Yep.
You should freelance.
I should. I thought about it. Every now and then when I go on Indeed, I will look up like podcasting or audio editing and stuff. I've been doing it for so long now, I can do all this crap.
Yep.
All right. TFR Libs, it's everybody's favorite fill-in-the-blank game.
Yes.
Matt, we heard a clip, the first trailer from the Infinity War, the new Avengers film. Matt, the Infinity War will be blank.
Fantastic. I was gloating to Chris earlier today when this came out, when this dropped. Like the kids would say, that this is how you do it. This is the culmination of a decade and 20 freaking films. I'm really excited for this film, and by far of the 3 Marvel films that are coming out next year, this is by far the one I'm looking forward to the most. 2018 is going to be an okay year for Marvel films. I'm actually more excited for 2019 with what's coming out, but I think this is going to be great, and I think it's going to end on a nice downer note, I believe, because obviously
it's the Empire film.
I think this is going to be the Empire film, but it's going to give you. I'm so looking forward to as much fun as Captain America Civil War was, and they had the job of introducing all these new characters and stuff. Now that almost everybody will be established, it's going to be like the crossover film comic book thing that we want to see. These 2 films are going to be really what we need. And like I said, 12-year-old me is getting everything that I want. Well, Chris, look at his face right now. If you could see it, this is what 12-year-old Chris would be doing with his beloved DCEU while I'm sitting here talking about this.
Whatever. All right. So the Infinity War, Matt, will be 4 hours long. There is no way. I mean, just watching the trailer, which is about 2 minutes long, this thing it's going to go on forever, right? I mean, how?
Okay,
but it's going to be long.
But we were worried. We were all worried that Civil War was going to be overstuffed, and this is also directed by the Russo brothers, which did Civil War, and we all really enjoyed Civil War. I have faith in these guys. I think they're going to be able to pull it off.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, and I'm going to love hating every minute of it, or hate loving every minute of it. It's probably more appropriate. So, yeah, no, it'll be good, but I think it's going to be long, but that's fine. It'll be fine. You see the trailer too. Spider-Man looks like it gets his Spidey sense. I'm assuming that's what the arm hair raising thing is, which is cool. And there's a lot of stuff that's introduced in here. You get a feel for, at least now why they've waited. They held on to this thing for a while because they wanted to give people time to see Thor, because Thor has a moment at the end of the film, at the end of the trailer, I should say. One thing I'm a little concerned about is the introduction, how they introduced Darkseid. I'm sorry, Thanos.
And that's just killing you inside that everybody, when Darkseid does show up, they're going to be like, this is a Thanos ripoff, because the public at large doesn't realize that it's the other way around.
Do you know Hydrox were first? The Oreos are the ripoff? A lot of people don't know.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah, I don't know why he doesn't have his cool headgear thing or thinger-bobber. I don't get that. Yeah. In fact, he looks worse without it. I don't quite understand that decision.
Yeah.
But it's a minor thing. Yeah. It's going to be...
You only saw him in one scene. I mean, who knows? Maybe he got it knocked off while he was fighting Iron Man or something.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be great. You sons of bitches. Where do you go?
Well, and can we just? I just want to. With Thor, and I was thinking about this because Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out next year, and I liked Ant-Man, but imagine how good if they had given Edgar Wright the free reign that they gave Waititi, how good that Ant-Man could have been. I mean,
well, Ant-Man was still good.
It was still good, but it could have been. It could have been.
Oh, it could have been
way
something
better.
else.
It could have been something special.
It could have been an Oscar-nominated superhero film.
Let's not go that far. We know
Because
that's not
Baby Driver should be Oscar-nominated.
It should be. Yes, that's very true. You know what? And I'm not that. Is it wrong that I'm not that excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp or Black Panther? I'm not super excited for those.
I'm excited for Black Panther because I'm not a racist. But
I'm getting very Doctor Strange vibes off this. I didn't love Doctor Strange. It was okay, and I'm worried that this is just going to be okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Black Panther is going to be good. I'm really excited for that one. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm sure it'll be okay. I'm a big Paul Rudd fan, so I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
That's true. He can almost do no wrong in my book.
So,
but 2019 is going to be the one that's going to be the one to see. Got Avengers 4, Captain Marvel, and Spider-Man 2, which is really what I'm looking forward to.
That'll be good. What do you got?
All right, so there have been lots of rumors that were last week. They seem to be killed. That Disney was going to be buying 20th Century Fox, but it's just come out today that those rumors around Hollywood are that's not as dead as it seems, and I guess it is actually, a lot of insiders are thinking it actually may happen. But Sony has also thrown its name into the ring to buy 20th Century Fox. So blank will buy 20th Century Fox.
I have no idea. I hope it's not Sony. I feel like they can't seem to figure their stuff out.
Yeah.
I'm terrified about this Venom film, that it's going to be an absolute disaster.
Yes.
But we'll see. So so you're saying Disney's still in the game, or they still have a shot?
Yeah, apparently from what I read today, it's that Disney, not only is Disney still in the game, but the scuttlebutt, if you will, around Hollywood is that this is actually going to happen. I
hope so. I would go with that then. I'm going to go with the Diz, with the mouse.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Disney too, not just because I hope it is Disney, just to get those Fox properties, the sweet X-Men, back to where they belong. But at the same time, I don't think Sony has the money. I mean, from what we heard a couple of years ago,
that's the thing, right?
The Sony Entertainment division, they were up for the auction block, and there was hope that maybe Disney would buy them, and we could get Spider-Man and Fantastic Four all back proper under the MCU. But so I don't see how they can possibly do it. The only concern that I really have now is if so. Let me ask you this, Chris: if Disney can only buy one, because if they keep buying up all these properties, they're basically going to be an entertainment monopoly. They have the biggest franchises in the world that makes money hand over fist. I think the government would come in and stop them from buying. If they buy 20th Century Fox, they stop them from buying Sony if they tried to do it.
No, I don't think that's because they wouldn't. I can't, outside of just monopolizing the properties, they don't have any control over the general public when it comes to services and goods. I can't imagine. They couldn't dictate to AMC to raise their ticket. Well, I guess they could. Now that I think about it, yeah, because that was the issue with Star Wars, right? Is they're demanding certain showings for a certain amount of times, and
right.
I don't know. I doubt it. I guess it's possible though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I hope it happens. I mean, by Disney, just take my money. Just take my money. Buy the X-Men back. Buy the Fantastic Four back. Get Spider-Man where he belongs. I mean, can you imagine how good this Infinity War thing if we had like Galactus and the Ultimate Nullifier and Doctor Doom and the Silver Surfer? That would be just fantastic.
It would.
But nope.
Yeah, I didn't think Sony had the money. It reminds me of that thing that the news that came out this week. Arby's is buying Buffalo Wild Wings for $2.4 billion. Who knew Arby's had that kind of money?
I didn't know Arby's was sitting on that kind of cash.
Yeah.
That's like Carl's Jr. kind of cash. Come on.
I would have thought it would have been the other way around. I was shocked. Arby's, making the move.
They are. Do you have Hardee's down there where you live? Have you sampled from a Hardee's?
I won't go with it. It's one of my same thing like Chick-fil-A. Just socially, I've made a decision not to support either of those companies.
Well, you're missing out on Chick-fil-A because it is fantastic, and you're also missing out on Hardee's because it is also fantastic, but it is extremely bad for you. So your heart is making a good is thanking you for that. I would also suggest if they have any around Whataburgers, but they are from Texas, so they probably are in the same boat. But they are delicious.
I think we may have one. I'd have to look.
We're digressing.
All right, Matt.
Here. We're all go ahead.
I know, really. Focus. Focus. Matt, blank will win the most Oscars this year.
Oh, it's tough. All right, so we've got Phantom Thread coming up. We don't know how good it is. We've got The Shape of Water coming up, which is apparently just absolutely fantastic. So what are the real contenders we think that we've had so far? Dunkirk?
Dunkirk is going to be up there. I think Florida Project is going to be nominated.
A bunch. But do you think it's going to be nominated for so many categories that it's going to be able to like bring in a lot of stuff?
I don't know.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm going to say Dunkirk is, because not only will they probably be in the running for like director and maybe, you know, picture and cinematography and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think they're going to get a lot of the technical awards like costume design and things like that. So I think overall Dunkirk will win the most Oscars.
If I had to guess too and make a bet, that's where I would fall as well. I would go with Dunkirk just because the technical, as you said, alone is enough to put it over the top.
Yeah, I think so.
So, all right, fair enough. What do you got?
All right, so Daisy Ridley has come out and said that she does not want to play Rey anymore after her 3-film stint is up. Episode 9.
People, I'm so tired of this shit.
What?
I got this role and it's a beloved character. Everybody else for millions, but I don't want to do it anymore.
It's catapulted me and created my career and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, that's not what I'm asking. Anyway, so we know Rian Johnson, who directed the upcoming Last Jedi. Disney was so impressed with him, they gave him free reign to create a new trilogy that is completely separate from the Skywalker trilogy. J.J. Abrams says Episode 9, he is directing it, is saying that this is the end of the Skywalker saga. So Episode 9 will be the blank of the Star Wars we know.
It will be... I don't know. I feel like I'm getting like a Cheers Frasier vibe off of this stuff, right? So I don't know if you're not going to start off, I don't think, with a whole brand new trilogy. You're going to have some touchstones, some touch points for people when you're starting off with the new trilogy. I would think. I don't know if it's going to be Boyega. I don't know who it's going to be. But I think you would do that. So film 9, I don't know if I'm grasping your question. Will be the blank of the trilogy or the Star Wars saga. It will be,
well, of the Star Wars saga we know. So the planets that we know, the Empire, the Rebellion, Han, Leia, Luke, you know, all this stuff that has happened since Episode 1 to Episode 9. Basically, do you think they're gonna? What I'm trying to get at is, do you think they're gonna continue that same storyline? Like, we're gonna still be in the same part of the galaxy, or are they gonna go out and just to say, okay, that's enough? Like, this is the self-contained piece of the story. We're not gonna talk about it anymore.
Is it gonna be like more New Order or First Order or whatever it's called again?
Well, not even First Order, or just even like the Death Star, parts of the galaxy where the Death Star never even happened.
Right.
Or we don't even talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would probably, you know what? I will say yes. I say it will be the end of Star Wars. I know I'm contradicting myself. I feel like it's not. It'll be, maybe we'll have Boyega or something like that drop in and anchor the new series, but it'll be in a different place, in a different part of the galaxy or the solar system or whatever the case may be. It'll be somewhere else. But there's not going to be any, First Order. There's not going to be, man, I don't know. I think you can't do it and not have a Jedi is what I'm thinking. Here's the problem. There are certain things that I think you need to have Star Wars. You need your lightsabers, you need your Jedi, you need your person who's going to be good, going to go bad, and maybe redeem himself. And let's all be clear, Matt. The Force Awakens is just basically a remake of the first film anyway.
Right.
So No, I'm going to contradict myself yet again because that's my prerogative. We're going to jettison a bunch of stuff. We'll still do some. We're going to do some new stuff, but we're going to gently link everything, and there'll be stuff.
There'll be stuff. Okay.
There'll be stuff.
I like when you were talking about how Boyega is going to show up. I just got this image of like in Ryan Johnson putting like Poe and Finn going on their honeymoon, and like one of the characters goes, "Hey, look, it's Poe and Finn," as they like fly by like in a transport outside of a window. That's all you get, you know. Yeah. And they like wave at the camera. And they're like, "Hi." Yeah, something very heavy-handed. Yeah, I don't know. I think one of the big criticisms of Star Wars, you know, obviously is, especially with Disney, is that, you know, they keep telling the same stories over and over again. And I don't have a problem with it because the way I see those 3 trilogies, they seem to be like, I look at it as like a poetic structure, like a literary structure, where it's basically they're repeating the same things kind of over and over again intentionally. But I think you can only do that for so long. And I think they're probably at the end of this. So I think they're going to, I would love them just to kind of go completely off the rails, just kind of use what they've got and just start, you know, making completely original stories, and maybe even just having offshoot stories as well. We'll get Donald Glover Lando films as sequels to the Han Solo film or something.
I'd be up for that. All
right, no Billy D either. It's wrong.
No,
he's not going to be in it.
They're burning back for Star Wars Battlefront and Battlefront 2, the video games. He voices Lando in those.
He doesn't.
All right, Matt. The director of Justice League 2, because it's a film we're going to get. The director of Justice League 2 is blank.
Oh my God. Did we ever determine how long Snyder's contract is? How many films is he contracted for?
I don't care what it is. They'll buy him out as far as I can. They'll do something. He's done. Right. I cannot see a way that he comes back to continue to helm this.
All right. It's not going to be Joss Whedon.
It's not going to be Whedon.
This is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with this. The director of the Justice League films, Justice League 2, will be the Russo brothers. I think they're going to do such a good job with not that I don't necessarily want to do it, but I would love to see them do it because they're going to knock Infinity War out of the park. They're going to make you so jealous, and they're going to come over and do it. Like, who else do you got? I can't even think of another one.
I think it'll be Matt Reeves. I think that they'll like the Batman so much that, and Reeves has shown that he can handle a franchise with a lot of stuff going on. I think that Reeves will be the guy.
Do we get Dick Grayson in the Batman? No more Bruce Wayne?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the question I thought you were asking. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. Possibly. I just don't see a cinematic Batman that's not Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
I don't see it. So I
don't
know.
Do they go younger? Like maybe it's earlier in his career and they replace Affleck with somebody new?
They could do, or maybe the Flash film resets a few things.
True. I really hope this works out for you because I really want these things to work out. And is it also wrong of me to really wish that Disney would come in and buy the DC universe as well so that the Asgardians and the Amazons can hang out together? Because I think Wonder Woman and Thor hanging out would be like something I need to have happen in my fan fiction head.
Asberg. Isn't that what he said? The Grandmaster says in Thor Ragnarok, got to get back to Goblin, Asberg. Asgard. Whatever. Yeah. I think it's going to be Reeves. All right, Matt. You got any one more for me?
Sure. Sticking on the theme here. All right, so it's come out. Feige has basically said that Avengers 4 will be the end of the MCU as we know it. And even Evangeline Lilly has alluded to today that the places that they're going in Ant-Man and the Wasp is very interesting, and she's getting a very Lost vibe where they're kind of resetting everything. So in the implication being we're gonna get something maybe with the quantum realm or things of that nature. So in Phase 4, the focus of the MCU will be blank.
Phase 4, the focus of the MCU will be Well, they're gonna do Avengers Disassembled, right? I think that's the next thing. Maybe that's how the Infinity War ends, or maybe that's the fourth Avengers film. And then here's a problem: if the Fox thing deal gets completed, I think everything gets thrown up in the air.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, obviously they have plans, he says, but I mean, if you get the X-Men back, that's what you're doing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of the big arcs. I guess the Skrull invasion would probably be the next thing.
Right.
Which I think, what was that called? Just Invasion? I can't remember.
Secret Wars. Secret Wars.
You could do, if you did a I'm talking Jim Shooter Secret Wars.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. And then Holland can get the black symbiote, but they're gonna have the Venom film. Damn it!
They gotta get those rights back. They gotta get those rights back, man. And then we can have Miles Morales in there. They've already they said he exists. Come on.
Mm-hmm. That would be good. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll go Skrulls. I don't know. That or Galactus.
Yeah, they don't have the rights to the Skrulls either, or they would have already used them. Because doesn't
they
Fox,
don't?
Yeah, Fox. The Skrulls, I think, are part of the considered part of the Fantastic Four rights.
Oh, jeez. I didn't think of that. I thought they were Avengers folks, but you're right. Kang? I love me some Kang. Kang the Conqueror they can get.
Right.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea, and that's why I'm not making the big bucks over in Marvel Land.
Yeah.
What are your theories, Marvel boy?
Secret Wars would be absolutely awesome. I don't know how they could do that.
But you're talking about the 1985 Jim Shooter Secret Wars, not the
obviously having to change it for what's already happened some, but yes. I'm not talking about Secret Invasion.
Okay.
Yes. So I think they go either one of two ways. Either go really weird, or maybe they even have two parallel paths. They'll keep going weird with their cosmic stuff. Maybe we get like some, the Living Tribunal in there. Maybe you get some Watchers, stuff like that. We've had some looks at the Celestials before, but I think also they kind of go into the quantum realm, and maybe they start doing, because again, where Marvel is ripping off DC, Marvel does have multiple Earths as well. It has parallel worlds and stuff like that. They have the Ultimate Universe, which they combined recently with Earth 616, which is the main Marvel universe. So that's why you can have Miles Morales and Peter Parker at the same time to give everybody the best of what they want. So maybe they start doing stuff like that. They start doing the kind of alternate world thing using the quantum realm as like a portal, if you will.
Who would be the next Marvel guy to get a film? I'm running out of people.
They got the rights to Ghost Rider back, but I don't know how that would fit into the MCU unless they tied it in with.
They still got to do a lean, mean horror film of Ghost Rider. I don't know. I thought that second one was going to be it, but
do you think they start separating that stuff?
Like a MCU Dark or something, like a Max. But they have the Marvel.
Yeah, but making standalone films, because I think they have the rights to the Punisher back. They have the rights to Ghost Rider back, but those are not films that you're going to put in the MCU proper. But I would think that at some point they would want to make an actual movie of those things.
I don't know. I don't know. Ghost Rider may fit more in the Netflix thing with the rest of them.
True. Although he's been on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
so it's not
different one though. Not Johnny Blaze. A different one.
That's very true.
I don't know who the next Marvel character. I don't know who.
Nova.
Maybe She-Hulk. Nova.
She-Hulk. You think?
I guess
I would see.
Nova.
I could see She-Hulk, the like lawyer arc of She-Hulk being put on the Netflix things.
I don't know. I don't know. And that's the thing too. I think, and this is my bias, I think there's so much more in DC that you could do that would be cool. I would love to see a Spectre film.
Yeah.
That thing, but it would have to be a straight horror movie.
Yeah.
But that would be awesome.
No, I'm not saying DC. Well, the advantage that DC has is they have the rights to all their characters. That's really what their advantage is. If they had the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and the full scope of Spider-Man, they could do whatever they want. They could do.
Yeah, but they don't right now. That's why I'm feeling like I can't think of another property they could introduce that anybody would give a damn about. But I guess they could just.
Well,
I don't know. We'll see.
They did it with Guardians of the Galaxy. I think Captain Marvel is going to be the focus really going forward. I think she's going to be the new Captain America.
Yeah, I think Brie Larson's Captain Marvel will be the linchpin of the next term.
Yeah.
We'll see. Good God, let's wrap this behemoth up. Matt, coming up next week, we're going to discuss Lady Bird. And what else did we say? I don't know.
Coco, if we can.
Coco, possibly Coco, if I can see Coco. We'll talk about that, but definitely I want to see Lady Bird. Just to briefly, to Matt, that summer bracket, it was the House versus Rough Night.
I never saw Rough Night, so I guess the House wins by default.
I saw Rough Night. I'm the Rough Night, probably. But after that, it was up against Baby Driver, so it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
Baby Driver wins all the way. So, all right, that's going to be the big show this week. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and of course, always at thefirstrun.com. You'll find us. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. You can listen to us as well at Stitcher. You can listen to the recording of the show, which is always a disaster because nothing gets cut out of it, on YouTube. And you can see what we look like. We're much more handsome than you think we are. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the big show for this week, Matt. So why don't we take an extended break, and we'll see you all soon.
Hello, Gary. Library book.
I laughed so loud at that. Hello, Gary. I understand you wrote a library book. All right, what do you want to do? Do you want to do the Stranger Things Mindhunter and just knock it out, or do you want to hold on?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready. You want to do it? I want to do it. Got
All
notes
right,
and everything. I'm actually more prepared than I ever am, so let's do this.
Ooh, okay. Where am I? Okay. And we're back, baby. Woo! It's time for the first round focus, baby. Yeah.
Whoa. It's frightening our audience member.
Shouts are here, of course, with
Not Owl.
That's right, baby. And this week on the focus, we're continuing.
Woo! It's a callback to our show.
There you go. Episode 375, anniversary show. Check us out. Check it out right now. Stranger Things, episode 6 of season 2, and Matt Mindhunter, episode 6, season uno, which is, I believe, both Italian and Spanish.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uno. And a popular card game. Take 4. Matt, let's talk about Stranger Things, episode 6. You were very excited about this episode because this was the beginning, as you put it, of the greatest partnership in the history of Stranger Things, if not media in general. Break it down for me.
All right, so let's just get the elephant in the let's address the elephant in the room. This is Dustin enlists Steve Harrington to go find Dart, and a budding. It's more than a bromance because it's you know it's like a mentor apprentice thing going on, and it's beautiful. And then there's some stuff with Max and Lucas, and then of course the Jonathan and Nancy, they're off doing stuff and doing it, and you know,
And you know, it's weird too. Aren't they kids? I feel like I got a little Judge Roy Moore thing going on here. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not attracted to any of them, but they are kids. So it's.
Well, yeah, but
I was rooting for the two of them. I was rooting for the two of them to get together. I think we all are, but I don't know. I don't want to cross any lines, man. No blurred lines here, baby.
The 17-year-olds.
Let the song. Listen to those lyrics, kids. Listen to those lyrics. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, so they Nancy and Jonathan are off doing it. In a creeper's house, bringing down the man and Paul Reiser. And then
Paul Reiser.
Will, yeah.
May actually be a good guy-ish.
I know. See, this is why I had to keep my mouth shut. I'm like, I think Paul Reiser's a good dude, and you were like, no, he's not. I'm like, I think he might be, man. He's not willing to sacrifice Will for the greater good.
That's true. Killing a kid is good. It's true. I mean, well, the beginning of the series of this season, he is Burke. At least he gives off that Burke vibe, which I guess is him doing all his actor thingies and trying to throw me off. I'm on to you, Reiser. All right, ever since my two dads, I've been on to you, pal. So, sorry, continue.
Okay. And then Will, they figure out that he is being affected by their attacks on the, I don't know, what are we calling it? The infection from the Upside Down that's spreading under Hawkins. When they burn it, it affects him because he is possessed by the, what are we calling it? The sky creature, the sky hand. I have no idea what the hell we're calling this thing, but anyway,
shadow monster. Wasn't it just a shadow
monster? Okay, very losty. But yeah, he's infected by him, and they're basically they find out, they're trying to cure him, they're trying to help him, but they see that he's actually leading them into a trap. While they're trying to spy on the shadow monster and the demigorgons, they're leading our heroes into a trap.
It didn't. You know what's funny too? It didn't even occur to me that there would be more Demogorgon dog thingers than just Dart. Didn't even occur to me.
No.
And there's what, like a baker's dozen? I don't know. There's a bunch of these suckers out there.
There are.
And look out, kids. So there's also, we have some issues too, right? Lucas and Max may be having a budding romance themselves, which I feel bad for my boy Dustin. Dustin is my spirit animal. And I feel that because he likes Max, so I think any budding relationship between Lucas and Max, I'm curious to see where the show. That's what I love about this show too, is the interpersonal kind of relations between all the characters. Is that they're still kids and they still are growing up. They're experiencing their adolescence in this truly horrific world, and I don't know, I absolutely love it. But I have to agree with you, Matt. The Steve Dustin pairing was fantastic. When he's offering him dating tips, I think was one of my favorite scenes of the series so far.
Just act like you don't care. That's good advice, kids. It's terrible advice, but it's good advice when you're like 13 years old.
So, and also too, mad props for my boy Brett Gelman, who I think does a great little turn here. He's, of course, is the what do you want to call it? The tabloid, almost sleazy reporter guy who is helping out Nancy and Jonathan. So a couple things for me that I enjoyed. First off, Hammer to Fall, little Queen. Always excited to hear some Queen in anything, really. And then my references, I think, Matt, there was the what do I have this reference? I'm missing this here. The key toss. What was the key toss? I swear I'd seen that before, but I couldn't place it.
I get that vibe from a lot of things in this show.
Also the nail bat. The nail bat too. I was trying to place that as well. I couldn't place that. Obviously, for the references, there's the big alien skin reference when he lists the bat in the former skin that
sure.
I missed that one. Alien to me.
Yeah, I missed that.
What else too? The assault in the end when Will sends these poor soldiers to meet their deaths in the tunnels. That was screamed aliens. Yeah. I swear to God, I thought one of them was going to yell, "Where's Apone?" While everybody was getting picked off.
They're coming out of the freaking walls, man.
So, what else? There's also I don't know if my reference is proper. It may be older than this, but there's that scene with Nancy and Jonathan when they're at Gelman's place and they're in different rooms and they both look at the doors and they go back and they look at the doors. There's 2 points of reference for me for that. There's Temple of Doom,
right,
which I think is probably what it is, but also Moonlighting. There's an episode of Moonlighting where they did the exact same thing.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out which. Maybe it was, probably both.
It probably was both. It wouldn't surprise me.
And I'm wondering too, the scene when the kids are going to try and catch Dart, not realizing that there's a whole pack of these suckers out there. There's a lot of in the shots of the sky.
Yeah.
And there's the chemtrails. I don't know if you noticed that. So I don't know if maybe that's something where they're going to be playing into going forward. I don't know. I just noticed that. I thought I saw that referenced a couple times in that episode.
Okay.
So for me, Matt, I got to say, episode 6, season 2, best episode of the season so far.
Definitely. I would give this a solid A for sure. And I'll give out some references. I also got the Temple of Doom reference. I had that in there. This thing is aliens galore. I had such a good time. I didn't get the. I'm very ashamed of myself that I missed the picking up the skin with the bat as an alien reference. I was very upset, but I was all over this. The soldiers, when they're shooting up to go into the hive, that's basically like a rip right from. I think even one of them has like something with like arms, like one of the suits or whatever. It's got these mechanical arms. The snowy video seed, the movement tracker. It even has the same sound effect. Yeah, they're all coming in. And then literally as they're walking into the trap, one of them says, "Stay frosty, boys," just like they're doing as they're going into the freaking hive. And this also, I think, was a little bit a bit of a play as well. When they're being attacked, there's fog everywhere. They're in these kind of like hazmat suits or whatever. So that reminded, this may be later than 80s, but Predator 2, that scene with Gary Busey trying to lure out the Predator is very similar. That same kind of thing with the army guys in the suits. Also, they're chumming the tracks like Jaws chumming the ocean to try and lure out Dart and the demo dog. And then, of course, Hopper gets his Silkwood shower. Which is, a slight reference, but it's still there.
Yeah, it's good. Man, yeah. No, that was a especially strong episode. For me, Stranger Things is back. I think we've been talking almost every week that it's basically been putting all the pieces in place, right? And we got 3 episodes left. There's only a 9-episode season, Matt. And I think we are ready to go. We've been picking up speed here, and I think we're now at the top of the roller coaster.
Yeah. And this is, and I'll tell you guys, I've seen the next episode. And this thing is going to go sharp left. And this has been killing me because this thing is going to go so sharp left that I've been waiting to watch episode 8 and 9 because I'm going to go ahead and spoil it a little bit. What 7th episode has nothing to do at all with what just happened. It follows 11 exclusively.
Well, so I don't... Because this episode had no 11 in it. There's a scene where Hopper's talking to her, right?
Yeah,
through the with the CB, but she's absent for this entire episode.
Yeah, she is. So the next episode is all 11.
I anticipated having a more 11 focused episode next week, but I guess I don't know how. I guess it's the entire thing. So
it's a very controversial episode if you've seen some of the stuff on. So we'll just have to wait. But until then, I just want to live that we're all Dustin when Steve rushes out into the mist to go fight the Demogorgons, the baby Demogorgons, and he just gushes. He's awesome, and it's absolutely right. It's like, yes, I'm right there with you, bro. Steve Harrington and Dustin for life. Fair hair.
I'm glad I finally was able to catch this out. So both A's for us. Stranger Things season 2, episode 6. Shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. What were your thoughts on chapter 6, The Spy? Matt? Let's move on then. Let's talk about what I think has been, up to this point, the better show.
Right.
Which is Mindhunter. So we open up again, Matt, with our boy. He is now, what do we say here? The BTK guy. He's just at home with his wife, and he's sitting in his chair, and he's just tying little knots over and over, tightening them, untying them, tightening them, and it's just. I'm still curious where we're going to end up going with this, with him. If this is going to actually pay off, or if we're just kind of just seeing a little bit of him every week, just watching his progress, and maybe it'll be BTK throughout the entire run of the show, because he wasn't caught until what, like 5-6 years ago?
Not even that long ago.
So, anyway, all right. I'm curious too if the show will jump around in time at all. That would be, that wouldn't really work. All right. So, Matt, this time around, this is a short episode, Matt. This is 34 minutes long. This is the shortest episode of the season of the series. And we've made some progress. So there's a big reveal in regards to the killing of the young woman whose name I'm blanking on, Beverly Jean, right?
Yes, right.
So it turns out that maybe it wasn't just our two buddies. It wasn't Frank, and it wasn't what was his name? Reggie? Benji. Thank you. That maybe the sister there is more involved than she initially lets on. But I think the biggest for me, there's two big revelations for this. One, the show itself even misses Ed Kemper. There's a scene where Tension Holden are saying, oh yeah, no, what, like another Kemper? Ah, those were the days. Yeah, those were the days.
Those really were.
But one of the big concerns that I had, Matt, I think is
put to bed. I think it's put to bed.
I think it is, but I'm not 100% because of how the episode ends.
Okay.
But it's revealed that Dr. Wendy Carr is in a relationship with another woman back in Boston. And she goes back she goes home and talks to her and she relays the fact that she's been offered a job by the CIA, which is how the rest of the show opens. And they want her to kind of come on full time and head this team. But she does like her job back in Boston. She goes home, talks it over with her partner, and doesn't get the support she expects. And the show ends basically with her. She establishes an office, and then she's looking at apartments. So my big concern, of course, has been I did not want a romantic love triangle with Holden and Dr. Carr. I did not want that. I wanted to keep those tracks parallel through the show. Now that Dr. Carr has been established as a lesbian, I'm confident that's not going to happen.
Right.
Now, sexuality can be a fluid thing, so I don't know if that's going to be the be-all, end-all for that relationship. I feel much better about it now, obviously, than I did previously. So that's good to see.
Good. I'm glad. I was when I saw that happen, I was like, oh, Chris should be happy.
And I got to say too, I'm becoming less and less interested in Holden's relationship with his girlfriend in his home life.
Yeah, his girlfriend is just. I don't know what the actress's affectations are, but it's just so wooden. I'm not a fan at all. Being as blank as they are, and which I think works to Holden's benefit when he's playing off other characters. But when he's in the room with her, it doesn't. It's like watching static on TV. It's just weird.
Yeah, the show's almost inert for some reason during those moments, which is too bad. So I think the wrapping up of the, I guess as wrapped up as it will be, the Beverly Jean murder is interesting. I think Frank and Benji, the Benji takes the fall. Here's the thing. It's very complicated, right? Because so the way they figured out is that Frank instigated Benji to kill her. Then Rose comes over and probably is the one that finishes her off, right? So it's just an interesting way to kind of just tie it all off. So what happens is the DA goes after Benji because that's the case he feels he can prove. And then he gives Frank basically a much lighter sentence by just confining him to a mental institution.
Right.
And then could be out in 5 to 10 or whatever the case may be. And then Rose gets a walk, basically.
Right.
And both Holden and Bill are disappointed by this thing that they blew their shot, but then just what's the word I'm looking for? Just magnifying the fact that this is still an underappreciated and unknown science that they're dealing with, and that it's still there's a lot of growth still to go with what they're trying to do. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, this episode was a little underwhelming. Like you said, nothing really happens. We're still dealing with Benji and Frank, who are nowhere near as compelling as Ed Kemper or even the other serial killer that they talked to for that one episode, which I forget his name, but not the strongest. I think it's necessary groundwork, and I think it's necessary for what they're doing for the series, but not the most compelling stuff. It's like they took a step back because they need to reshuffle the pieces, reintroduce, Bill's home life, his wife, his problems with his wife, and the struggles with his child.
I think it's interesting too that I didn't even bring that up, that Holden and his girlfriend have dinner at Bill's house and interact with his kid, and I get what they're trying to do and establish with that. It's just I don't know how effective it is. No, I think it's a more interesting story arc than Holden and his girlfriends.
Right.
But.
And see, I think that's the real downfall of this episode, is that This show is most interesting when it's dealing with the case and it's dealing with the psychology of the killers, and the three leads are kind of bouncing off each other against some, human monster. When you're dealing with their home life, it's not really that interesting at all. I mean, it's weird to say that you don't want them to be humanized and be more fleshed out characters, but at the same time, it's just not working. Even Anna Torv's, lesbian relationship, I mean, other than establishing that she's a lesbian, was boring. It wasn't really anything that I really needed to see as much as I did. So I don't know.
I thought it was interesting, but maybe it was more just the reveal and how fresh it was that we're finally getting some information about Carr. But I think that's good. I think it's an excellent point, Matt. I feel that I'm falling into a Law and Order love with this show, that I just care about the procedurals. That was one of the gifts of Law and Order, right? Is that you never really got into the background of who these people were. They'd give you little snippets every now and then, but that wasn't what the point of the show was. Right. Is I want more procedure than I want relationship from Mindhunter.
Right. Well, hopefully it'll continue to deliver. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The problem is, and I think really, is they set that bar so damn high in episode 2 and 3 with Ed Kemper that I don't think they're ever going to clear that hurdle. I'm really worried that they're not going to be able to clear that hurdle.
That's interesting. Yeah, that is a concern. We'll have to see. We have a few to go here. We're only about, halfway through, or is this one 10? This one's just 10, right?
This one's 10, yeah.
So we'll have to see. I don't know. A step down for me, Matt. I'm going to give Mindhunter episode 6. It's still fine. I gave it a B this week.
Did you give it a B? I was going to be pretty harsh. I was going to give it a C+.
Well, you're wrong. Okay.
You've been calling me wrong a lot lately.
Well,
you're wrong. I'm not wrong. You're out of order. I'm not out of order. You're out of order. This whole show is out of order.
Sounds good. So the first one, Focus. That's the wrap for this week, Matt. Next week, episode 7s. Well, keep in mind we're going to have one week where it's just Mindhunter.
That's
because it's just the 10th.
Although I want to say this though. I've been avoiding things that I've read, but the little bit I have read about Mindhunter is that this thing ends in a way that people are not happy, from what I understand. So we may have a lot to unpack come Mindhunter episode 10.
No. All right, fine. Yeah. Just an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. What were your thoughts of episode 6 of The Mindhunters, The Lives of Others? We'd love to hear from you. Check us out on Facebooks, Instagrams, YouTubes, the Twitters. We are there. Just do a search for The First Run. Scroll. You will find us. There's always a First Run website as well, thefirstrun.com. Matt, that's going to be the big show for this week then. Let's take an extended break, and we'll see y'all soon. Yeah.
Now talking is